Hi, this is Kim from Emerging Creatively Tutorials, and this is ECT TV, episode 61. So today I am going to be showing you how to make this really sweet, cute, but pretty simple ring. It only takes a little bit of wire and just a short amount of time, and you'll be whipping these rings up in no time. So let's just get right to it. So these are the tools and materials that you'll need to make this ring. You'll need 18 gauge half hard round wire, and that's the only material. And then the tools you'll need are a ruler, a ring mandrel, round nose pliers, chain nose pliers, and wire cutters. So to get started, we are going to cut approximately 7 inches of wire. Now, as you make this ring, you may find that's maybe a little too much, and so you can adjust it for future rings, but this is a good starting point. Depending on the size of the ring you're making is basically how much wire you'll need. So that's something you might have to experiment with as you make more rings. Okay, so to start, we're going to bend this wire in half. So I'm just trying to find kind of basically the middle here. And then I'm using my round nose pliers in the middle, and then just using them to bend against. And I'm just using kind of the very tip so we can get it as close as possible. And then I'm straightening out the wire. You want to be careful though. The more you work with this wire, the harder it will get, and then it might start to get a little bit hard to work with. So don't play around with it too much. And we can kind of fix this up a little bit as we form the ring. So now I'm grabbing my ring mandrel. So whatever size you're trying to make, that's where we're going to wrap around. So just sort of wrap around the ring mandrel, forming a ring. And then I just kind of bend it to the side, and it's a little bit easier then to kind of pull the ring apart a little bit and pull the ends right through the inside of that bend. And then you can just put this back on the ring mandrel to the size you want and pull everything tight. And now I'm grabbing my chain nose pliers, and so each individual, there's 2 ends here we're going to pull. So just kind of make sure everything before you start, you're on the right size that you're trying to make, and you have the ring like tightly wrapped around. But now we're going to pull each of these ends up and back against it. So we're going to pull it even tighter now. And you do that for both. And kind of hold the wire by the end, just because you might make a little bend like I just did. And we can just cut the end off. And then I just kind of push it down so it's in a ring form. So right now I'm just going to check to make sure these wires are the way I want them to be. I want them to be a little closer, so I'm just going to push them together a little bit. And then over here, I'm going to pull them a little bit so it's even. And definitely make sure that they're not twisted. That's kind of the main thing you want to focus on. Alright, so now I'm going to just kind of take this ring off the ring mandrel. And I'm going to measure just slightly more than 1/4 of an inch. And that's where I'm going to trim off the excess wire here. And you want to make sure that you're making a flush cut. So that's using kind of the back side of your wire cutters toward what you're cutting, and that makes a nice flat, straight flush cut. So now that I have that trimmed off. So now I'm going to make 2 spirals with these wires, one going each direction. So I have my round nose pliers, and you start by making a loop, And I'm just kind of pulling this up a little bit so it's a little bit easier to make the loop. So you just hold the wire, the tip of the wire, at the top of your pliers, but it should not be poking through. And then you just hold on and twist away from you, and twist as far as your wrist will let you twist, and then readjust and complete the loop. And you just do the same thing on the other side. And so you have these two loops, and that's actually pretty cute too, so you could stop there if you want. But I'm going to actually spiral mine a little bit. So now I have my chain nose pliers, and you just hold that loop in your chain nose pliers, and you spiral around. And with this ring, it's almost easier just to kind of twist your chain nose pliers up. And you just, there we go, twist. And it's not going to be much of a spiral in this case because there's not a lot of room. And then you just do the same thing with the other side. And again, this is not much of a spiral because there's not a lot of room. If you want to make a larger spiral, you would want to use a little more wire. And then I was just kind of pushing everything back down. You can slide it back on your ring mandrel and just make sure everything is still in a ring shape. Push it all down, and then you have your ring. So that is kind of the simple wire ring you can make with just a small amount of wire. So I hope you enjoy learning how to make this quick and easy wire ring. I have an event coming up called Rings Every Day Month, where we will make a ring every day for the entire month of April. There are two ways you can join in. There is a free version where I will send you an email every day to remind you to make a ring, and I'll have kind of inspiring photos, but not really how to make them. And then once a week I'll send you a ring tutorial. They'll usually be something that was free on my website, or something new that I will share with you. And then there is actually the premium version, which is just my fancy way of saying you pay for it, and it is super inexpensive, and you get a ring tutorial every single day. So you get lots and lots of inspiration. You don't necessarily have to make the ring for that day on that day. You can make whatever ring you want, but you'll have lots of options to choose from as you go through the month. And you can get in on an early bird price on that still right now if you're watching this when I'm uploading it. If you come over to my website at KimberlyKoehler.com, I'll have a link below in the description so you can easily just click over and see it. All the tutorials will be in video or PDF. Sometimes it's in both video and PDF. It's heavy on videos. And like I said, you get one of those every single day when you purchase the premium version. But even if you don't want to purchase a premium version, I highly suggest that you sign up for the daily free email so that you get inspiration every day to make a ring every day. It's so much fun to do a challenge like this where you are challenged to make something every single day, and I feel like you can really get creative and feel really great about you know, your skills and learn a lot as you go along. So I hope that you will join me. The link that you need to learn more about Rings Every Day Month is below the video if you're watching this on YouTube. And I hope you have a great couple of weeks, and I hope to see you for Rings Every Day Month.